ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता का प्रथम अध्याय
Bhagavad Gita, first chapter,
श्लोक नंबर 41।
verse number 41.
तो पिछले पाठ में हमने पढ़ा
In the previous session, we studied that Arjun,
अपने
who
को दोनों सेना के बीच में खड़ा करने के लिए भगवान से प्रार्थना की
had requested Bhagavan to place the chariot in the midst of the two armies, and when Bhagavan did that,
तो उन्होंने देखा
then Arjun saw that
उनके अपने ही
in the both sides his friends and relatives were present,
वहां उपस्थित हैं युद्ध करने के लिए।
and they were present there to fight in the battle.
उनके अंदर एक
So seeing that,
विचार
Arjun
हुआ सबको मारने से
thought very deeply that what is the benefit that we will derive by killing these people. Even if we
करेंगे क्योंकि
get the kingdom, how we will enjoy that? Because if our
क्या करेंगे
kinsmen are not living anymore, then how can we enjoy?
भोग करते हैं
Because in this world, whatever we enjoy, we conduct festivals, we conduct these programs with our friends and relatives.
किस वस्तु का
But so if these people themselves do not live, then what shall we enjoy?
ये दुविधा पैदा हुई कि युद्ध
So Arjun got this great duality in his mind that whether I should fight or not fight the
ऐसा भी
war.
नहीं है कि वो सोच रहा था कि युद्ध नहीं ही करना चाहिए,
He
अगर
was
युद्ध
not determined not to
भगवान
fight the
निश्चयपूर्वक
war.
था कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा
Otherwise, he would have told Bhagavan
और
with fixed determination
ऐसा
that I
भी
will
नहीं
not
हुआ,
fight.
न योत्सयति गोविंदम
And when he says
और
like this
आगे दूसरा
to
अध्याय में
Bhagavan,
तो भी उसको
even in the
निश्चय है
upcoming verse, that I will not
और
fight,
ऊपर से
he is
बोलता
not
है लेकिन
speaking with
अंदर से फिर भी
inner conviction.
उसको पता है कि वो एक
He
क्षत्रिय
knows
है,
somewhere
शास्त्र
within
में
that he is a Kshatriya
दुर्व्यवहार
and
किया
the
दुर्योधन के साथ
family
में
behaved very
और
badly with them
राज्य
and they
धार्मिक तरीके
stole
से उसने
away
ले लिया
their
और
kingdom.
उसका इसके लिए
So it is his
इसलिए वो
dharma to fight.
टेंशन में है, लेकिन फिर भी वो
This
निर्णय नहीं
thought
कर
is there
सकता
in his mind,
और जब
but
तक हम
still
निर्णय नहीं कर
he is
पाते
not able to make a
तब तक
decision.
हम किसी कार्य में अपना
And
ध्यान पूरी तरह से
when we are not
नहीं
able
लगा
to make a
पाते
firm decision,
तो
we cannot
वो
work
चाहता है
wholeheartedly.
वास्तव में कि भगवान
So he
उसको
actually wants that
उसको उसके
Bhagavan,
लिए राजी कर लें कि नहीं तुमको युद्ध ही करना है, ये निश्चय
somehow Bhagavan should convince
उसके
Arjun
मन में जो
that he
संशय है
should fight the war,
उसको वो
and
दूर
the
कर दे।
doubt in his mind
तो
should be
इसलिए
removed by Bhagavan.
तर्क भगवान के
That is
सामने
why
पेश कर रहा है।
he is placing
इससे
these
पिछले श्लोक में हमने पढ़ा था
arguments in front of Bhagavan.
और उसमें कहा था कुलक्षये प्रणश्यन्ति कुल धर्म सनातना धर्मे नष्टे कुलम कृत्स्नम अधर्मो भवत्युत। तो उन्होंने कहा था जब कुल नष्ट हो जाता
So in
है
the previous verse, he had
तो वंश
said, when
परंपरा
the
नष्ट हो
family is
जाती है
destroyed, the ancient
तो
family
धर्म
traditions are lost,
नष्टे अधर्मो
and from the loss of family traditions, irreligiosity or adharma overwhelms the
अधर्म का
entire
अर्थ क्या है?
family. So this
भगवान की
world
दृष्टि को भी देखें तो
is
धर्म
supported by
का मतलब
dharma.
एक नियम है,
Dharma
वो
means
नियम से चलता
rules
है,
and regulations. The world
रिदम जिसको
is
बोलते हैं,
operating based on some rules and
और
regulations, on a rhythm,
ऋतु आती हैं और जो
like
प्रकृति
day
है
and
वो
night,
अपने
seasons, the planets,
अपने पथ पर चलते रहते हैं
they are moving in their orbit.
और उसी से सृष्टि चलती है और
In
पूरी
this way,
सृष्टि
the
एक
whole
रिदम से चलती
universe
है।
is operating
सृष्टि होती है
on
फिर
a
स्थिति
rhythm.
होती है फिर लय होता है फिर सृष्टि
So there
होती
is
है
creation,
फिर
maintenance,
स्थिति फिर लय।
destruction, and this cycle
तो इस
continues.
प्रकार से एक चक्र है, एक क्रम है
So in this
सृष्टि
way,
का
a sequence is going on,
और इस क्रम में कभी जो है विक्रम नहीं होता,
and this
उसमें
sequence
व्युत्क्रम नहीं होता, वो निरंतर
never gets
रहता है।
destroyed.
उसी
This
प्रकार
sequence
हमारा
always
जीवन भी एक क्रम
continues.
से चलता है
Similarly, our life
लेकिन
also
उस जीवन
operates
को
on a
सुचारू
sequence.
रूप से चलाने के लिए
But
हमें
in
कुछ
order
नियमों का
to
पालन करना
operate it
पड़ता है
properly, we have to
और
follow some dharma.
उत्तरदायित्व केवल मनुष्य के ऊपर ही है कि वो
And this
सभी को अपने
responsibility
नियमों से
lies
चलाए।
only on human
चाहे
beings
पशु
because the
पक्षी
other
आदि हैं,
species, the other living
चाहे
entities,
जलचर जीव
they operate
जानवर हैं,
according to the nature
वो
laws of
अपने
nature.
स्वभाव से चलते
They
हैं,
work according to their
परंतु उसका कोई
swabhava,
व्यतिक्रम वो नहीं कर सकते हैं।
and they cannot
लेकिन
go against their
मनुष्य का
swabhava.
स्वभाव
But human being
वास्तव में उसका स्वभाव क्या है ये भी उसको निश्चय नहीं है।
actually human being is not
परंतु
sure about his
मनुष्य से
swabhava.
ये आशा की जाती है कि वो
But it is
धर्म
expected from human beings that they
धर्मस्य
should
सर्वम तो
follow
शास्त्रम
dharma.
भगवत प्रणीतम।
And
भगवान ने जो
dharma
नियम बनाए
is
उसको
nothing but the set of rules and
जैसे
regulations laid down by
अभी
Bhagavan so
गैजेट्स
that
खरीदते
this
हैं तो
world
उसके साथ में एक
continues.
इंस्ट्रक्टर्स
So,
मैनुअल
like
आता
when
है
you purchase any object, any machine, then you get an operating
जिसको जिसने
manual
बनाया
along
है
with
वही
that.
जानता
The
है कि
one
किस
who
तरह
has
से किस प्रकार
created
से
that,
काम करता है
only he understands how do
और वो
the parts
क्षमता
of
है
that machine
कि
work together.
किस तरह से सुचारू
What
रूप
is
से
that
चले
machine
और
meant
किस
for?
प्रकार से
How
वो
can it
चले
work properly?
तो उसमें
And
क्या
if it is
समस्या
not
आती है।
operated accordingly, what all problems it
तो
may
फिर
encounter?
जो उसका बनाने वाला है
So,
जो
whoever is
मैन्युफैक्चरर
the
है वो
creator,
जानता
the
है कि
manufacturer
उसको
of the
किस प्रकार
machine,
से इसका
he or
डिजाइन
she
करना है।
knows that
इसी प्रकार ये
because he
संसार
has
के
designed
रचने
accordingly.
वाले जो रचयिता है
Similarly,
रचयिता है
the
तो
creator of
उसके
this
साथ में एक
world
इंस्ट्रक्टर्स मैनुअल दिया है
has given the
वेद दिया
instructor's manual along
और
with this
उसमें
world,
लिखा
and
है
that manual is Veda.
वेद अखिलो धर्म मूलम, वेद ही धर्म का मूल है।
Veda is the root
परंतु
of
ऐसी चीज
dharma.
नहीं है कि कोई आप उसको हाथ में लेके किसी को दे
So,
दें,
dharma is not
वो
something so
उसको
like
स्पर्श
some
करने वाली
tangible
कोई ऐसी
object,
चीज नहीं, वो
a
नियमानुरूप
touchable
है।
object that you can hold
इसलिए
and you can give
मनुष्य
to
में
somebody.
शास्त्र का यही है
It is a
कि आप
set of
शास्त्र पढ़ें
prescriptions
तो
and
शास्त्र
prohibitions.
शास्त्र जो है वो शासन करता है। शासन करने
So
का मतलब
Shastra
होता है कि वो
disciplines us
भगवत
by
वेद का ज्ञान
prescriptions and prohibitions. It gives us the knowledge of this, and this is only meant for human beings. Other than human beings, for other living entities, they Shastra does is not applicable to them, because they do not have the capacity to go against their swabhava. But human being has that, and that's why human being has to understand dharma. And here it is referred to as kula dharma, the dharma of the family of. So when we are born in a family, the family has a set of rules and regulations. So Kula Dharma is a limb of Sanatan Dharma. If Kula Dharma gets destroyed, then Sanatan Dharma will get destroyed. Actually, Sanatan Dharma cannot get destroyed, but when we say it gets destroyed, it means that we do not follow that. So it is as good as being destroyed. So this is Arjuna's anxiety. And now he speaks the next verse. So this is a very relevant verse, verse 41. And now in today's age, if we hear this verse, we will start reacting that what sort of nonsense is he speaking. But this verse contains a very deep philosophy. The translation: with the prevalence of irreligion, O Krishna, descendant of Vrishni, the women in the family become corrupt, and with the corruption of women, the intermingling of social classes arises. So this is a very fundamental law in Sanatan Dharma, that is protection of Varna. When Bhagavan created this material world, he prepared the system of Varnashrama. And in order to protect that also, he created a system. So Varna and Ashram, their protection, maintenance depends on woman. So woman is like the field, which is the kshetra. Like if you have a field, and if the ground, if the soil is fertile, then there will be good cultivation of crops. And if there is abundant cultivation of crops, there will be happiness and prosperity. Otherwise, people will die out of hunger. There will be chaos in the society. That's why it is very important to protect the field, the soil. And in Sanatan Dharma, in Vedic Dharma, this is a very important subject matter: protection of woman. So it is said that the father protects the woman until she gets married, and the husband protects after she is married, and the son protects her after in her old age. So this has been the system in Bharat, but today the system is exactly opposite, and today's system is encouraging atrocities on women. And we can see what is happening, what is the result. But one who understands this philosophy, only he will perceive as a negative result. But one who doesn't understand the philosophy, even women, they will also protest that why you are speaking such things. So nobody can change the law. Seed has to be sown in the soil, in the field only. Child will be born from woman only. That law cannot be changed by anyone. No matter how much the woman becomes competitive, but she only has to give birth. The male cannot give birth. That is not possible. So if the woman becomes polluted, then the polluted child will take birth, and then the society will become polluted, and then there will be chaos in the administration, and then dharma will get destroyed, because such children will not listen to anyone. That is Varna Sankara. They will work against dharma. That is guaranteed. It will be ingrained in his DNA to work against dharma, because he has been born out of adharma. He has been born out of irreligiosity. So that's all he will do.
तो जो चीज उसको बनाती है वो उस जो प्रोडक्ट है
When an object is manufactured out of some raw material, the property of raw material will obviously be there in the final product.
से पैदा होगा
So, one who has been born by mixing of varnas,
मिलाने का मतलब
Sankara means mixing,
मिलाना
and here mixing means mixing in the wrong way.
संस्कार
When varna is mixed in the correct way, that is called samskar. Correct mixing is samskara, and wrong mixing is called sankara.
अधर्म उसके अंदर ही होगा वो धर्म
So, adharma will be in that person.
धर्म का वो
He will not understand dharma. He will always oppose
करने में
dharma.
उसका कष्ट होगा
He will have lot of trouble
ऐसी ऐसी
in following dharma because he has been born like that.
हुआ
His birth has been like
ये
that.
बात आज हमारे आधुनिक मानसिकता के
So,
लोगों को समझ
in
में आनी बड़ी मुश्किल है
for people of today's current modern psychology, it is very difficult for them to understand.
साइंस ने इतनी
And you are speaking like this. Science has advanced so much. We have reached moon, and what kind of old-fashioned talk is he giving? So you may speak whatever you like, but you cannot change the laws.
जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड
Like nowadays, we have genetically modified vegetables, crops, the GM food.
उनका कुछ पता नहीं है ना कि वो कैसा उसका
Now,
परिणाम होगा
for those that food, we don't know what will be its result.
ग्रेन्स हैं फ्रूट्स हैं हमें तो पता नहीं है
We do not know what qualities they possess. The normal crops we understand about them, but the genetically modified crops, we do not, nobody can predict what will happen by consuming these crops.
कह सकते हैं कि देखने में सुंदर लगता
Now you can say that they look beautiful, their size is bigger, that is all fine.
शरीर के
But when it goes inside the body, what result it will produce, we cannot predict that. So Varna Sankar is also like that.
वो जो ब्राह्मण है वो तो ब्राह्मण की तरह ही काम करेगा
Brahman will work as a Brahman because his DNA is like that. Kshatriya,
चलते हैं ना सर
Kshatriya will work as a Kshatriya. They work according to their dharma.
यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किम करिष्यति सब अपनी प्रकृति के अनुसार
Everyone is working according to his Prakriti.
प्रकृति तो हमें पता
Now, as far as Varna Sankar is concerned, we cannot understand his Prakriti
कैसे काम करेगा
and in which situation how he will work. We cannot say that. We cannot predict it.
इतना तो कह सकते हैं कि वो धर्म
But this much we can say, that is for sure, that he will not follow dharma
अधर्म की पैदाइश है
because he has been born out of adharma.
बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है
And in today's society, this is being encouraged.
प्रयास
For the whole world is trying to destroy Varnashram. Our Indian government also encourages this. In many places, people are even given money if they marry in some other Varna. So, in order to encourage adharma, they do this. And they think this is progress. This is not progress. This is the cause of destruction of society. So, although what Arjun is telling, he is telling some in some other context that he doesn't want because he doesn't want to fight. But what he is telling, that is true.
वैदिक संस्कृति में
So that is why in the Vedic society, protection of women had great importance. Shastra has laid lot of emphasis on protection of women.
शादी हो जाए विवाह हो जाए तो फिर वो अपने
When a woman gets married, how she remains dedicated and devoted to her husband and is not interested in having relation with any other male. This was all natural. Nowadays, this is considered as slavery, and that women are being deprived of freedom. So, freedom and craziness are two different things.
को एक मान रहे हैं
Nowadays, we think that freedom means whimsical behavior.
क्या कहें दुर्भाग्य की बात है
This is a very unfortunate
इतना भी अंतर हम नहीं जानते हैं
situation that we do not understand even this much.
कार्य करना
Breaking the laws of dharma is not freedom. This is whimsical behavior. This is craziness.
स्वतंत्रता के
If you have freedom,
दायित्व भी आता
then along with
है जहाँ
freedom, you have responsibility. Whenever somebody is given freedom, then along with that, he also gets responsibility. Though in any institution, those who are situated in higher positions, they have more power and they have more responsibility. Actually, they are given more freedom simply because so that they can operate with more responsibility. Those who sit in positions of more power, they have more freedom, because without more freedom they cannot operate with more responsibility. So that is the whole purpose why they have been given more freedom. That doesn't mean that you become whimsical and do whatever you like. So freedom is not given for that purpose. But mostly people do not understand the difference between freedom and whimsical behavior. So Arjun, at this point of at this moment, the doubt that he is having in his mind and the logic that he is presenting is this only, that women will become polluted. Why will that happen? Because adharma will spread. Why? Because in any society is nothing but a conglomeration of families. It is not some separate institution. Society foundation is family, and in a family there will be a head. So the head of the family will control it. Today in family there is no head. Everybody is head of the family. Husband is also the head. Wife is the head. Children are also the head of the family. So then in such a family, Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma, it is not possible, because nobody has the power to instruct anybody else in the family that do this or don't do this. Husband will not listen to wife, wife will not listen to husband, children will not listen to parents. Rather, children want that our parents should listen to us. Everybody wants to instruct others but doesn't want to follow anybody. So So just like I want that others should listen to me, others also want that I should listen to them. But this doesn't happen. So that's why earlier the society was framed in such a way. And in the whole world, this was the system that in any family, in any institution, there will be a head and everybody will follow him or her. So that was the system. So if anybody did something wrong, then the head would instruct that don't do this. So in a village also, there was a head. So the head of the village, this was his responsibility, that if somebody is doing something wrong, he would be removed from his position. So I have personally experienced in my village in childhood that we used to have fear of the head of the village. If some child was doing something wrong, the head of the village used to instruct him that don't do this nonsense, go and study. Nowadays, it is not possible to instruct the children in one's own family also. But earlier, the children used to listen to even the head of the village, what to speak of family. So Arjun is telling that nobody will listen to anybody and then dharma will get destroyed. Because dharma means following a set of prescriptions and prohibitions. So if you don't even have knowledge of these prescriptions and prohibitions, what to speak of following them? So, and if this is not followed, then there will be chaos in society. So dharma means that which upholds, supports the society. So the dharma begins from family. And in family, the primary member is the woman. Although we think that the male is the head of the family, but actually the woman is the real head of the family, because male and female both are born from the woman only. So even seed is also born from the soil only. So it is very important to maintain the purity of the soil in the field. So many rules and regulations are there in Sanatan Dharma for this purpose only, to maintain purity. Here, purity refers to mental purity, because impurity comes in our thoughts, in the mind. Impure thoughts are there. And when there is impurity of thought, then we take wrong decision and we act in a wrong way. So the irreligious person does not have any viveka. He does not have sense of discrimination. The difference between religious and irreligious person is that religious person has vivek. He has the sense of discrimination because of which he can take the right decision. This is what I should do and this is what I should avoid. But in irreligious person, there is no viveka and he will not be ready to accept that also, that he doesn't have viveka. So in today's world, it is very difficult to instruct any person. If you instruct any person, immediately he will react. Why? First of immediately there will be question mark. Why should I do this? No matter, irrespective of whoever he or she is. If you are the guru and you instruct your disciple, disciple will react. Why should I do this? So it is very difficult to instruct or explain something to somebody. Although that is for his benefit only. So Guru is ready to instruct the disciple, but the disciple is not ready for that. So when nobody is ready to take instruction, whom will you instruct? So in today's world, lot of shiksha education is being spread everywhere around on the internet. There are lakhs of lectures available for free, but who listens to them? Who accepts them actually? So this is because we have lost the sense of discrimination. We don't have any viveka, and that's why we cannot accept this. So Arjun is crying for this reason only. And what Arjun is telling, we can see the result of that in front of our eyes in society. Now Arjun was thinking about future, that this will happen in future, that women will become polluted, then there will be Varna Sankara, and in upcoming verses he is telling that Pinda will not be offered. But we can see in front of us that all these things are happening. We don't have to imagine that this will happen or that will happen. In our case, it is happening in the present. So now he says, if this Varna Sankara will happen, what will happen? What will be the result? How does it matter? It is Varna Sankara only. So verse 42, translation, the intermingling of social classes results only in hell for the destroyers of the family as well as for the family itself. Their ancestors certainly also glide down, being deprived of the ceremonial offerings of rice and water. So this is a great science in Varnashram Dharma, the Shraddha Karma. So in the whole Varnashram is based on this science, that how the whole society remains religious and progresses on the spiritual path. So this Varnashram Dharma was instituted for this purpose only, how the society together can get liberated from this entanglement of material world and attain moksha. But if we break its laws, then what will be the result? The result will be hell. Hell means suffering. Its result will only be hell, it will be suffering. And in reality, nobody wants to suffer in hell, but we are acting in that way only that we will attain hell. So we act according in such a way that we attain hell, but we don't want the suffering of hell. So we are sowing thorns and we expect mango tree. How is that possible? Mango tree will be possible only from mango seed. So we give birth to Varna Sankara and then we expect that he will follow our instructions or he will serve us. No, that is not possible. You have sown the wrong seed. Everyone can see that. So that's why he is telling that he will be the destroyer of the dynasty or destroyer of the family. He will lead to destruction of the family. He himself will fall down in hell and he will make a whole family glide down to hell.
अगर कोई पानी में डूब रहा है, आप जाके उसको पकड़ लो, तो आप तो तैर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसको पकड़ लिया तो सो साथ में आपको भी लेके जाएंगे और आपको
So if somebody is drowning in water and he is holding on to the other person very tightly, the other person along with him will also glide down into the water. He will also drown. So that's what he is telling. Arjun is telling that he himself will glide down to hell and his whole family will go to hell. And his whole ancestors will also fall down into hell. I mean, Pitra, the ancestors, those who have already died. So they will also glide down to hell. They themselves were not Varna Sankara, but in their dynasty there is Varna Sankara. So Varna Sankara will not perform Shraddha because he has no interest in dharma. Why will he do that? And even if he does that, the ancestors, the Pitras will not accept that Shraddha because this person is a Varna Sankara. He actually does not belong to them. He is not a member of their team because he is neither here nor there. So nowadays, now for protecting the breed of dogs, horses, people try to protect the breed of especially the race horses. They try to protect their pedigree. They try to protect the breed of these horses. He should not mate with any horse of other breed so that the breed is not lost. But what about human beings? In case of human beings, exactly opposite is happening. That why you made this varnashram. Now, dogs and horses, they are being protected, but human beings are gliding down to hell. So this human being who wants to protect the pedigree of other species, but is not worried about his own species. So when the person dies, as we all know, we are all Atma, and Atma never dies. Death simply means change of body. So after death, then he goes to the Pitra Lok, to the world of ancestors. But it is not necessary that after death he will go to the world of ancestors only. Some may go down, some may remain here, some may go up. Because there are three worlds: upper world, the present world, and the lower worlds. So the ancestor can go anywhere. He can go down, go up, or remain here. And here also it is not necessary that he'll be reborn as human being. He may be reborn as any other species also. But eh, when his next generation will perform any shraddha for him, then in whichever species he or she is, when the shraddha is performed, then the ancestor will be satisfied. He'll get the result of that shraddha. And if he doesn't do that, then he will remain dissatisfied. So this is a great science, but this is only possible when there is no Varna Sankara and the family dynasty continues like that. So regarding this, in the Smriti Shastras, there are lots of rules and regulations. How Shraddha is performed, in which place it should be performed, who is the adhikari to perform Shraddha, who is not eligible to perform Shraddha. All these are laid down in Shastras. So these are not some whimsical rules. The rishis, the seers, they who can foresee the future, they have laid down these rules and regulations. This is beyond our intelligence to understand how and why they have done that. So they have done this for everyone's welfare.
अपना जो स्वास्थ्य है, हमारा अपनी जो समृद्धि
And
है,
our own health,
उनके
our own happiness, it depends on the satisfaction of our forefathers. If forefathers are, now somebody may say, okay, forefathers are happy, how does it matter to us? So it matters because our own life will have prosperity. Our own health is related with our ancestors. So there are two types of people in society. So there were grihasthas and sannyastas. So the sannyasis, those who take sannyas, they are beyond this varnashrama. They are beyond these rules. The sannyasis, they do not perform yajna. So this pindodaka kriya, this shraddha karma is not done by sannyasis because they have broken their relation with their from their dynasty. Their relation is only now with Bhagavan. So they are not bound to follow these rules. But for grihasthas, it is necessary. So there is a complete vidhi system of shraddha. So the varna sankaras, they will not follow this. So there will be two types of problems. The women will become polluted and the other people, they will not perform this shraddha karma. So this is a cause of great sin. So that is why one who destroys his dynasty is referred to as a great sinner. Verse 43, translation. By these evils, which destroy families and lead to the intermingling of social classes, the ancient traditions of social order or jati and family traditions become extinct. So this is the result of Varna Sankara. The dosha is the Varna Sankara, and because of which the families get destroyed. So now, like nowadays, we have a great identity crisis. What is whose identity? So this jati and kula dharma, they protect us. So when one has some jati, he has some pride of that jati, that I am a brahmana or I am a kshatriya or I am a vaishya. So he will not do anything against his kula, against his family. I am a brahmana. How can I perform such low class activity? I am a kshatriya. How can I do this? So internally he will have this kind of vichar, this kind of thinking or feeling. So he will not perform the wrong activity. But when one doesn't have any clear identity, he can do anything. He will go anywhere, he will eat, he will go anywhere, he will drink, he will mix with anybody, he will sit with anybody. So he doesn't have any such identity that I should not do this or I should do that. So earlier it was not like this. So in India, earlier, when people used to travel, when they used to meet someone, the first thing they used to ask is, what is your jati? Nowadays, nobody can ask this, and if you ask, people will become upset that how can you talk of jati? And especially if somebody is some mix in some mixed order, some mixed jati, he will become very angry that why do you ask this? But earlier this was a normal standard because as soon as he understood that this person belongs to this jati, so the earlier the people played lot of emphasis on eating, with whom we can eat, with whom we should not eat, with whom we can get married or not get married. So earlier it was known as the relation of food and daughter or food and woman. Every person did not eat with every other person, and he did not get his daughter married to just anybody randomly. Because our society it works on our body. From body only society is working. If there is no human being, what will be the society? Society means collection of human beings. So these are all bodies. So for body you need two things: food and marriage. Daughter. So for living, we have to survive on food, and to propagate our dynasty, we have to give birth to children. So for these two things, there are lots of rules and regulations in the Indian society related to food and marriage, whom one should get married to and whom one cannot get married to. So this is Jati Dharma and Kul Dharma. So Sanatan Dharma is surviving on these two, Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma. Jati here refers to Varna, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and then Kula Dharma, because in Brahmanas also there are different Kulas, and then they have their Kula Paramparas. So there is Kula Devata, Kula Devi in the family, there is Gram, village deity, there is family deity, and then Jati also has its own system. So the Sanatan Dharma worked with these only. So if they all get destroyed, then nothing will remain. So for that only Arjun is telling here that by these evils which destroy families and lead to the intermingling of social classes, the ancient traditions of social order or jati and family traditions become extinct. So earlier people had lot of abhiman for this. When Shishupal was talking in all kinds of evils to Krishna, he was telling that Krishna's jati is not clear. Is he in Gopa jati or is he in Kshatriya jati? Because he was born in the family of from Vasudeva and Devaki, but he was maintained by Nand Maharaj and Yashoda. So Nand Maharaj is Vaishya, but Vasudeva is Kshatriya. So his jati is not clear, and how you are worshipping him. So actually, what he was telling in one way, what he was telling was correct. How can you worship somebody whose jati is not clear? Jati is the first thing you should know about that person. Without jati, nothing can be done. No religious activity is not possible without jati. Today also, if you go to any pandit for doing any ritual, any religious activity, the pandit will first ask you what is gotra. Without gotra, you cannot do sankalpa. Without that, how can you perform any ritual? So today it is very important. Now today the whole jati system is lost, and what is remaining, it is just in name, just for voting. Nothing else is remaining. So that is why in Arjuna's mind, this is a great doubt, a fear that I am becoming the cause of the destruction of the dynasty. Because of me, the Kula Dharma and Jati Dharma will get destroyed, and I will be held responsible for this. So that is why he has a lot of fear in his mind because of this, whether I should fight the war or not. On one side, I am a Kshatriya, I have to fight the war. It is my dharma. And on the other side, the result of this war will be destruction of dharma. But now, in reality, dharma will not get destroyed by fighting this war, although he is giving this kind of logic. But wars have happened earlier also. This war which is being fought, it is actually meant to establish dharma by removing adharmic, irreligious people. Only religion can be protected. If you do not fight against the irreligious people, they will destroy religion. They will destroy dharma. This is very important to understand. In Bharat, the Sanatan Dharma, the Vedic system which was destroyed, that was because the irreligious adharmic people ruled here. They destroyed the temples,
बराबर कर दिया, पुस्तकों को जला दिया,
they destroyed the libraries,
विद्यालय थे
they destroyed the gurukulas, the educational centers.
नष्ट कर दिया. अगर उनसे युद्ध करके धार्मिक लोग जीतते,
If the dharmic people in this country would have fought against them and won, then the dharma could have been protected. So what Arjun is telling, in one way it is correct, but it doesn't mean that he should not fight the war. So to protect dharma, one has to fight against the adharmic irreligious people. Otherwise they will destroy us. If Arjun does not fight this war, and as he will tell in the upcoming verses, that even if these people kill me, then also I will not do anything. So what will be the benefit? You are a dharmic person, you are a religious person, and some adharmic person kills you, then will dharma be protected by that?
क्योंकि इससे युद्ध करना धर्म का विनाश करेगा, पर वो तो ऐसा सोच नहीं रहा है.
Now you are not fighting against that person because you do not want dharma to get destroyed, but the other person is not thinking like that.
पहले कहा ना कि हालांकि ये नहीं देखते हैं इस बात को, लेकिन हम तो इस बात को देख रहे हैं.
So Arjun is telling that these people, Arjun told that these people cannot understand the defect of destroying the Kula Dharma, but we understand, so why should we fight? We understand the sin, but Arjun is also not understanding one thing, that if they are not seeing the sin in destroying the Kula Dharma, then they will anyway fight. Their chitta is polluted, their consciousness is polluted by this greed. So they are not realizing the great sin of destroying the dynasty, destroying the family. So Arjun is not understanding that they will anyway fight. Even if you do not stop them, you are actually making their way clear. If some person is performing adharma and we have the capability to protect, and if we are not doing that, then we are encouraging irreligion. Then we also become party to propagating adharma. So Arjun is not having this vision. Because of his attachment, he is only seeing one side. He is considering himself a great religious dharmic person and considering others as adharmic. But even if Arjun is considering himself as a dharmic person, he is not ready to follow his dharma. This is the defect in his thinking. His understanding is not proper, it's not complete. Actually, if he would have been so religious, he should have thought over this. So this is where people make a great mistake generally. And today especially, people are committing this mistake. When the Second World War was fought, the whole world was shaken by that. After that, there was a mentality that there should be no war. And that mentality pervaded everywhere very deeply. So it is true that there should be peace, there should be no war. But if somebody is doing something wrong and if you don't fight against that person, then that person will come to power. Then he will establish his authority. And he will rule over you in an irreligious way. So he has to be stopped. So today the governments are operating in this system. That give shelter to this also, give shelter to that also. But by giving shelter to this irreligious adharmic people, you are encouraging adharma. If you give shelter to an adharmic, irreligious person, then one day he will definitely engage in irreligion, in adharma. So Arjun is not thinking about this. If he does not fight the war, then how will dharma be protected by that? Will that happen?
दुर्योधन तो पहले ही अधर्म में लगा हुआ है,
Duryodhan is already engaged in adharma
तो इनको
and he
मारने
has stolen the kingdom. He will destroy these Pandavas and he will rule everywhere. Earlier also he tried that. Now Pandavas are in front of him. If Arjun doesn't fight against them, he will kill all the Pandavas. He will not hesitate in killing the Pandavas.
तो इसलिए उसका
So that is why
सर्वतंत्र स्वतंत्र बन जाता
he will be the indisputable ruler of the whole earth.
है। यही उसकी सोच में
So this is the mistake in Arjuna's thinking, and that is why Bhagavan will try to explain to him. So we should deliberate, ponder over this. Otherwise, we don't understand and we think that Bhagavan is instigating Arjun to fight.
ये बात बहुत लोगों के मन में आती है, बोलते
Many people have this kind of thinking that Bhagavan is instigating.
और भगवान उसको इस तरह से क्यों युद्ध करने के लिए प्रेरित कर रहे हैं? तो वो उसको युद्ध करने के लिए प्रेरित नहीं कर रहे हैं, उसको
So Bhagavan is not instigating him. Bhagavan is instigating him to perform dharma.
और अधार्मिक लोगों से समाज की रक्षा करना, उसके लिए प्रेरित कर रहे हैं, और उसी पर वो बात करेंगे बार बार। तो इसलिए
So he will again and again talk about that only. So we have to understand this.
भगवान ने क्या कहा,
Then only we will be able to understand Bhagavan's replies to Arjun.
तो आज का पाठ यहीं बंद करते हैं।
So we will stop here for today, and in the next class we will complete this chapter. 4 verses are remaining.
कोई प्रश्न है तो पूछो।
If anyone has any question, he or she can ask.
बोले
कि किसी महिला को या फिर किसी मिट्टी को पॉल्यूटेड
So the question is, by saying a woman or the soil can be polluted, how are we to understand how is polluted? Is it not relative to time and place?
भी निर्भर करता है क्या?
एक उदाहरण दीजिए समय स्थान का।
So whoever has asked this question, can you give an example of time and place?
कोई उदाहरण दीजिए। कुछ बोल रहे हो?
Any question?
हाँ जी, बोलिए।
Any question?
हाँ बोलिए।
You hear?
हाँ सुनाई पड़ रहा है, बोलिए।
Can't hear anything.
बोल रहे हैं। तो दूषित होना, अभी आपका स्थान के तो मैं समझ नहीं आया, स्थान प्लेस क्या समय, लेकिन दूषित होने का मतलब है वो धर्म का पालन
तो
नहीं करना, यही दूषण है।
Polluted means is not following dharma, that is the pollution, that is the corruption. Not following the kula dharma, jati dharma, that itself is the pollution.
आगे क्या बोल रहे हैं? One may be very reasonable, but just a moment of whimsy can cause chaos in our lives. How then is possible to follow on? क्या है इसका? स्पष्टता से बोलिए, क्या whimsical का मतलब क्या है आपका? जो धार्मिक व्यक्ति होते हैं वो ऐसा
The
whimsical
question, one may be very responsible, but just a moment of whimsical action can cause chaos in our lives. How then is it possible to follow varnashram in this world? So the answer, the religious, the dharmic person is not whimsical actually. He follows it. So Arjun, we can see he is clarifying his doubt from Bhagavan. He is not acting whimsically. So I am not sure what actually you mean by whimsical.
to follow varnashram in this world. In this world में तो अभी मैं आपको नहीं बता सकता, क्योंकि
So in this world today, I cannot explain how one can follow varnashram, because the varnashram is not existing mostly in today's world, but I am simply explaining the principles of varnashram. In practical life, how it can be followed, I don't have answer for that, because varnashram is not some individual thing that you can follow. Varnashram depends on society. If the whole society is ready to follow varnashram, then only it is possible. One person, if he wants to follow varnashram, he can try, can do that, but in reality, how will it be possible? It is actually the dharma of the whole society. If you are a brahmachari, you want to live in gurukul, if there is no gurukul, there is nobody to teach, what will you do alone? So earlier, when the kings were there, they ensured that the whole society followed varnashram, and anybody who broke the rule of varnashram, they used to chastise or punish that person. But now the society government is secular, so we cannot follow that. So that is not the objective. Follow varnashram. People ask again and again, how can we follow varnashram? Now the whole society is chaotic, so there is no question of any varnashram in today's society. That is only possible when the heads of the country, those who frame the rules and regulations, they sit and they deliberate on this, then only it is possible. Varnashram is not one person's job. In some places, some people try something that is nice, but it will not lead to much success. You may make some farm somewhere and try to follow varnashram. How will you follow varnashram? You have to live in this society. How will you sustain yourself alone? You are a member of society.
प्रश्न है कि व्यक्ति दीक्षित है और महामंत्र का जाप कर रहा है, क्या
So
उनको
the
श्राद्ध
question is that
नहीं है क्या?
one who is initiated and is chanting Mahamantra, is he not supposed to follow Shraddha Karma? So, answer, if somebody is fully sheltered and surrendered in bhakti and he has full faith in bhakti, then he doesn't need to follow the Shraddha Karma. Bhagavan Krishna himself has told in Bhagavatam. Bhagavan himself has said this.
प्रश्न है जैसे शादी महाराज जाति के आधार पे हमें भेद
So the
नहीं
question
करना चाहिए।
that we should not discriminate based on jati, I've heard this, and it is also said that after the Britishers came to invade India, they started this discrimination. But I've heard in your class that Pitama Bhishma called Karna as Shudra. So how can we understand this? So what is there to understand? Jati difference will always be there. What today, in today's society, what is happening, the people say that there is no difference, discrimination based on jati. That's what I am telling earlier. Vedic society was not like this. There was a clear difference of jati. Nobody could deny that. But this difference does not mean that you insult others or you exploit others. That was not there earlier. Ved means according to your constitution, your nature, you are dealt with accordingly. So like in our body, we make a difference or no, that this is hand, this is body. Now that does not mean that we ignore the legs and just pay attention to the hands. So if you have fever, then you wear socks on the legs also. So you don't say that this is legs, let it get finished. I don't care. We don't do like that. So society was like that. Like we have this body, the society was also considered like a body. The Brahmanas were treated as the head. That is in the Purusha Sukta prayer. In Bhagavatam also such description is there. So in the society, there will be differences. If you are working in a society, somebody in a company, if you are working, somebody is designated as marketing manager, somebody is into administration. So there is difference or no? So if you say that no, everybody is equal, marketing guy will do administration and vice versa, that doesn't happen. Everyone has different capabilities, different inclinations, different levels of intelligence. Everyone has different capacities and capabilities. So there is nothing wrong about it. So it is not wrong to understand our own capabilities and others' capabilities. This is Varnashram. It is divided based on guna and karma. Bhagavan has told that in Gita. So every person, he has different gunas, and by understanding those gunas accordingly, he performs the karma. So this is the difference. So this differentiation is not wrong. This is actually good. But differentiating in such a way that this person is a Shudra, I will do this to him, do that to him, is not, is inferior to me. So insulting others, that is wrong. So why Bhishma Pitama told him Shudra? Nobody knew that he is a Pandu Putra. We cannot actually tell him Pandu Putra. You can tell him Kunti Putra. So in that sense, he was a Kshatriya. But nobody knew that. They all just, everybody thought that he is a Suta. He was the son of Radheya, was the chariot driver. So these all people working with iron and all this, they were all Shudras. And actually, they only engaged in all the business. Brahman, what did he do? Was just teaching. People say that Brahmanas oppressed them. So these are all simply to instigate. What would Brahmanas do? They were very poor. And the other point is that in today's society, all these things anyway don't exist. So why do you cry over all those things that don't exist only? What we should do now, we should bother about that. We don't have to disrespect anybody. Mahaprabhu has told very clearly, Amanina Manadena. So we should respect everyone, whether is Shudra, Brahman, whatever. If Bhagavan is inside, residing in everyone's heart. So the final vision that Vedas want to give us is this only, Vadus Vasudeva Sarvamiti. This Varnashram is for social maintenance, because we have to live in the society. Nobody can live alone. And if I have to wear clothes, it doesn't mean that I will stitch my own clothes also, I will grow my own food also. How is that possible? So we have to live based on cooperation among people. So for social maintenance of the society, Varnashram system existed. And it also does not mean that you just get stuck up in society life only. Ultimate purpose is to progress on the spiritual path. So that was the objective. But in every system, there will be some degradations or mistakes. People do not study Varnashram. They do not never understood it, and they brought degradation into that. They started bringing in wrong practices in the name of Varnashram. So these all happened due to ignorance. So we should not encourage these wrong activities in the name of Varnashram. So Varnashram also became very much degraded, and it is true that there was a lot of oppression on the Shudras, and I accept that, and that was wrong. But Shastras nowhere encourage any form of oppression. If we study Gita, Bhagavan himself is telling that the women, the Shudras, Vaishyas, they all, or anybody else born in any sinful species, they all can achieve the highest destination by taking my shelter. So Bhagavan is not doing any discrimination. But this much to Bhagavan is doing, that this person is a Shudra, this person is a woman, this person is a Vaishya. So that is based on the guna and karma.
अगला प्रश्न है कि श्राद्ध सेरेमनी के संदर्भ में संतुष्टि और असंतुष्टि से क्या अभिप्राय है?
Next question, what do the terms satisfaction and dissatisfaction mean in the context of the Shraddha ceremony? How can an Atma benefit from someone else's action? does it mean that the Atma of an ancestor situated in a lower species of life can get a better body due to the Shraddha performed by his or her descendant?
करने से वो एक उच्च जाति की जीवन को पा सकेंगे?
तो ऐसा नहीं है, उच्च जीवन को नहीं पाएंगे।
So it's not like that. It's not that the ancestor will automatically get promoted to some upgraded species, higher species. What I said, that in that same body the ancestor will live with peace or satisfied. Like you have money, but you may still not be satisfied with that, or you may be satisfied.
तो इस प्रकार का असंतोष जो देखने में आता है प्राय करने
So this dissatisfaction that we see
किसी भी स्थिति से
in people,
वो संतुष्ट नहीं होते हैं।
they do not remain satisfied with anything. But some people, they have very little, but still they are very much satisfied.
संतुष्टि प्राप्त होती है
So this Shraddha, this gives satisfaction to the ancestor in whichever situation he or there. It is not that
वो संतुष्ट रहेगा।
they will directly get promoted to some other species automatically,
आप ऊंची जाति में जाके भी अंतुष्ट
because the main thing is satisfaction. Main thing is not in which species you are. Even if you are in some higher species but you are not satisfied, what is the use of that? Next question: are those who are engaged in sadhana bhakti need to follow pindadan or other kriyas? Usually devotees say that one who is engaged in bhakti doesn't need to or is not required to perform such activities. Chanting of the holy name is sufficient.
तो प्रश्न पहले ही पूछा था।
So this question was asked earlier and I already gave the answer.
दो चीजें हैं कि
इसमें there are two things in this. When you are living in society,
के संदर्भ में इस बात
in Bhakti Sandarbh also, Sri Jiva Goswami has deliberated on this, that those who are fully sheltered or surrendered in the path of bhakti, they don't need to do this. And second thing is living in the society. When we live in society, there is something called sadachar or lokachar in the society. So if we are members of the society, then although we do not need to do that, we should do that because we are living in the society. Because if we don't do that, then we are setting example in front of others also that they should also not do. Otherwise they will think that these are bhaktas, they are above us, when they are only not doing. Why should we do that? Like Bhagavan has told in Gita,
स्वयं प्रमाणम कुरते लोकस तदनुवर्त। तो लोग दूसरों को देखकर
that
एक आचरण बदल लेते हैं। विशेष
people change their behavior by seeing that some person whom they consider as ideal is doing something wrong.
नहीं करता, जब वो देखता दूसरा
So it is the human's tendency that when he sees that the other person is doing something wrong, he will also do it. And when there is something right with the other person is not doing, then he also doesn't do that.
तो इसलिए
So people have this tendency of copying the wrong behavior.
कि हमारे
So like this, we have a responsibility in society
से
that because of us, nobody else should become adharmic.
और जहाँ इस प्रकार की कोई क्रिया होती नहीं है जैसे विदेशों में, तो वहाँ तो है ही नहीं, इसकी कोई चर्चा ही नहीं।
But in the foreign countries, there is nothing of all this Shraddha karma or anything.
और कुछ
हाँ, अभी हम देख सकते हैं कि समाज में बहुत लोगों के द्वारा वर्णाश्रम धर्म को फॉलो नहीं किया जा रहा है, जैसे कि हम विवाह संस्कार देख सकते
So
हैं।
next question. Now most of the society members don't follow varnashram system, for example, getting married. However, if one is somehow or other engaged in devotional service, can they still be elevated? So should we focus on preaching Krishna bhakti only?
पहले तो ये प्रचार वाला जो बुखार है उसको छोड़ दीजिए आप।
So first of all, you give up this fear of this fever of preaching. So this is a big disease, all the time talking about preaching, preaching, preaching.
करना है ना कि प्रचार।
Your first duty is achar, to follow. Dharma is meant for following.
मुख्य रूप से
Dharma is primarily meant for following. If you don't follow, then you forget about preaching.
जब आप उसको
Preaching should be done only when you understand something properly and you follow that and you have some experience of that. But today little bit you understand and you start getting into preaching, just preach and preach. And what will happen by that?
तो आप अपने आचरण पे ध्यान दीजिए.
So you focus on your own acharan, on your own, or on what you follow. I am not in opposition to preaching, but preaching should be done by qualified people only.
योग्यता प्राप्त करने के लिए
And
शास्त्र के ज्ञान होना बहुत
qualification should come by knowledge of Shastra. That is extremely important. Otherwise, we ourselves don't understand something properly and then we preach it to others in the wrong way, and then we will have to suffer for that sin. So if we are teaching somebody something wrong, then we have to suffer for that.
ये गारंटी की बात है.
That is guaranteed. You have to suffer for that activity
आवश्यक है
in the name of preaching.
जब प्रचार करें तो पहले
So it is very important to make sure that what you are preaching, you yourself have understood it properly,
समाधान आपके पास होना चाहिए.
and you should have the answers to the doubts of people. And most important is following. That is primary. Preaching is secondary.
तो ऊपर उठना जो है वो भक्ति से होगा.
So rising above
अगर समाज में लोग
in consciousness will happen through bhakti only.
मत कीजिए.
But when there is some system in society, then don't act against that system.
नहीं है तो आप भक्ति कीजिए, कोई समस्या नहीं.
But when if you don't have any such system, you just do bhakti, there is no problem.
संदीप जी.
प्रणाम बाबा जी महाराज. सो मेरा क्वेश्चन आज के जैसे प्रैक्टिकल सिचुएशन को देखते हुए, यदि हम
So the question is, considering today's practical situation, what you said that we should follow dharma. So like if I consider that I am a son, I am a father, I am a disciple, and I perform that duty, or I am a husband, I follow my duty, and the other person, whether he or she does or does not do, is that approach correct in today's situation?
ये दूसरे का कर्म दूसरे के साथ है, आपका कर्म आपके साथ.
So yeah, that is correct. You follow your dharma. The other person does or does not do, that is his problem.
तो काफी मुश्किल मतलब असंभव जैसे ही है. तो इसमें इस केस में अगर हम अपने आप को थोड़ा सुरक्षित रखना चाहते हैं
So
धर्म के,
it is very difficult to get back varnashram in society.
ऐसा है
But
कि वर्णाश्रम
according to our situation, we should do our duty.
उनका तो
So the answer is that there are some fundamental principles in varnashram that everyone can follow.
स्कंद में भी और सातवें
Like
स्कंद
if
में
you
ऋषिकेश
study the 7th canto, the 11th canto, in 7th canto, Narad ji is giving
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीज
teachings on
ऐसे हैं जो सब
varnashram. So there are some teachings which are applicable to everybody, whether irrespective of the varna and ashram he or she belongs to.
वर्णाश्रम है, गुरुकुल में जाना, ब्रह्मचारी रहना, वो तो किसी के लिए
So some things like going to Gurukul, living with Guru,
कहीं पे कुछ
that is not possible for everyone. Some very rare people may be doing that. That is fine, but majority cannot do that. That is not possible.
सिद्धांत हैं जैसे
But the fundamental principles like speaking the truth,
दूसरों को
practicing non-violence, not giving trouble to others, not stealing,
व्यभिचार ना करना,
not engaging in illicit relations,
रखना, दूसरे के साथ ना करना,
maintaining relation only with one's wife.
लागू होते हैं.
These type of principles are applicable to everyone, irrespective of
तो उनका
the ashram or varna you belong to.
समाज में इतना ही
So follow that much. That itself is a big achievement in today's society if we can do that much also. Respecting elders.
दूसरों की कुछ आवश्यकता है और आपके अंदर सामर्थ्य है,
If somebody is in some need and we have capability to help him or her, then we should do that.
मानव मात्र
These are common things. These are for every human being. It is not just for Hindu dharma.
thou shall not kill.
Like in Bible it is said, thou shall not kill.
10 commandment में है ना,
And it is there in the 10 commandments.
तो इनको मानिए.
So just follow these basic principles.
जैसे
I have another question. This Kurukshetra war, which was a dharma, battle for dharma. So the Pandavas, they were saved. But from Kauravas also, Ashwathama and some people where they remained alive. So what was the cause behind that?
करेंगे वो
So the cause was that they will, in the in the next creation they will continue dharma. That's why they were protected in the seed form.
Can give the mic back. Yes.
Babaji, you mentioned that a person's varna is judged by guna and karma, but it also seems traditionally that they were bound by jati, so to speak. Like you mentioned Karna, clearly he was a Kshatriya because he could fight with Arjuna, but they called him Suta.
Yes.
So traditionally and like in village life, would a person ever marry outside their jati if they had a different nature, or was it?
So when it came to marriage, it was all according to jati. Otherwise, it is very difficult to figure out who is belonging to what, and then avyavastha will come. So when you have to apply rules at global level, पूरे समाज के लिए जो नियम बनाए लगाए जाते हैं, तो उनमें कुछ
So when there are rules for the whole society, you need some rules.
Some rules to follow. क्योंकि ये कौन किस वर्ण का है, ये
Who is belonging to which varna, it is not easy.
जो कर्ण था वो तो
So Karna,
तो क्षत्रिय था,
he was a Kshatriya by varna, but by jati he was a Suta. So his marriage would happen in Suta jati only,
से मानेंगे इस बात को.
because the other varnas people, how will they accept that? Bhishma himself was not ready to accept that.
तुम तो सूतपुत्र हो, उसको बोल
He used to say that you are a son of a Suta.
कहाँ तो आ गया.
Would it be correct to say that the reason for dissatisfaction today, most people are very dissatisfied in their lives, is because there's no shraddha going on anymore?
श्राद्ध न
Shraddha.
तो क्या ये कह सकते हैं
So
कि
the question is, does dissatisfaction in today's society, is it because people are not doing Shraddha karma? That is one of the reasons. There may be many other reasons, but this is definitely an important reason.
प्रश्न ये है कि
So the question is,
आपने ऐसा भी बोला कि बहुत मुश्किल है ये पता लगाना कि कौन
one person can present himself as belonging to a particular jati,
जाति तो जन्म से आती है, कौन किस वर्ण का है.
a particular varna, because jati comes by birth. However, it is very difficult to find someone that actually follows the principles or dharma of that. If we want to associate with like-minded persons, it seems difficult to tell who are like-minded persons. Do then we not run the risk of losing lot of time trying to find the right association? So what are your thoughts on finding the right association in this light, so that we don't end up wasting our time? So the answer is, why are you interested in the varna and all? You just do satsanga and just check their behavior, their conduct, their character. Like I said, speaking the truth, non-violence, not stealing. It is not necessary that only Brahman will be like this, but there will be Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras who all can have these qualities. So you just check these qualities. First thing you check is who is truthful. It is very difficult to find a truthful person in today's society.
प्रश्न ये है कि क्या अभी जो प्रशासन है वो धर्म को
So the next question is the current administration following dharma with adharmic people?
जो अभी का प्रशासन है वो धर्म फॉलो कर रहा है?
कौन सा धर्म?
So the answer, which dharma are you talking about that you think the current administration is following with the adharmic people?
इसके अनुसार चल रहे हैं.
So which dharma are you talking about? They are simply following their constitution. But if you talk about the Shastriya dharma, that they cannot follow.
इतनी स्वतंत्रता ही नहीं है.
They don't have that much freedom.
क्योंकि हमारा जो राष्ट्र है,
Because our government of any country, it is operating according to its constitution. The constitution itself is the Shastra, that country. Like earlier we had Smriti, and the kings used to rule based on the Smriti Shastras. So nowadays that is only called constitution. So based on that only they have to work. The judges are there. If somebody is violating any rule of the constitution, then even if government is doing that, then people go and file the writ petition against the government in Supreme Court. So everyone is bound bound by the constitution. Like earlier, people were bound by the Smriti Shastras. Even the kings had to follow Smriti Shastras. So now the constitution is the dharma. Now on your individual level, you follow whichever dharma, that is different thing. But the government works according to the constitution. Even if you follow that much, that itself is also a big thing. Okay. So we'll recite the prayer verses.
मंगलाचरण अपने प्रार्थना के श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्यस्य एकदेवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरि ओम तत्सत्।